Okay, so hi, my name is Laura. For those I haven't met, I'm going to do a quick overview of Contentful, the CMS that we're using to power the marketing site, and we'll go over any questions that the team has about specific pages that they might want to edit. So I will go in here and just open up the website for an example. So this is Contentful. You may have seen it before. The very first thing I want to point out is that up in this top corner, I'm on about.gitlab.com. There are a few spaces is what we call them. This is pretty much everything on the website about.gitlab.com/whatever, except the blog. The blog has its own space here. So if you're looking for any blog posts, they're going to be in this space. And then the navigation, your view might look a little bit different. We're not giving everyone access to all of the spaces. The navigation is that, this header and the footer at the bottom of the page. And since it's on every page, I think there are specific people who have access to edit that. But yeah, the important one here is about.gitlab.com. This is the bread and butter of our site. And I'm on the content tab. These other tabs are a little less relevant. It's kind of how we built content, but all of the actual text, strings, files, all of that, you're going to find that on the content tab. And the very first thing I like to do is filter the content type by page. This makes a little bit more sense to me. I'm going to alphabetically sort them here. But for example, this is about.gitlab.com/analysts/community/dedicated. So we've tried to name these files based on the URL of a page. So as an example, if I go into the analyst page and I open up the analyst page, there we go. The content for this page is going to live in here. I've clicked on analysts and I'll see the title of the page that we try to keep consistent with what the URL of the page is. The slug, we probably shouldn't be changing any slugs, any URLs without setting up redirects. So maybe don't edit that field. And then we've got some SEO stuff in here. This is going to be where an open graph image would live, and the description of when you go to share this on LinkedIn or whatever, the text that appears on it. But the page content is really what we kind of care about. So I'll see here that there are three, there's a hero, a set of cards, and another set of cards. And if I look at the page, I see a hero, I see a set of cards, and I see this other set of cards. We've got this guy at the bottom of most pages automatically injected, but for the most part, all of the other content should match. So if I wanted to change this hero, I'd click into Analyst Hero, and here's where all the text for the hero lives. So it is kind of you're nesting deeper and deeper into Contentful, and you can keep opening more and more pieces. It just keeps kind of sliding out all of these little pop-ups. But so getting your bearings is a little bit tough. But yeah, if I wanted to edit any of the text on the hero, what top industry analyst is this guy, I can just make my changes in this field and then hit publish. And when I hit publish, we've set off a pipeline, and that should be live on the site in 10 minutes or so. So I'm not going to hit publish. I don't want to publish this, but it's as simple as that to make changes, which is great. But also, we have to just kind of be aware of what we're changing. That's kind of tough to visualize what I've just done. So we do have, for most of our pages, I'm back on the page level, right, with our SEO or our little card groups and stuff, the page up here. When you're at the page level, you should see this open live previewer. And this actually helps us in the same window view one and the other. So I can, again, go into this hero. I'll make my changes, whatever, and I kind of see that change happen in real time. This hasn't been published yet, but I get a visual of what it looks like, what it's going to look like. And I can, copy this URL, send it to my friends, and what do you think of this change, whatever. So it's kind of a replacement for review apps. I'm gonna undo that. But that is really kind of helpful for inline editing and seeing what you're doing. Yeah. And then some other little things here that I like to call out. Also on this sidebar, there's this versions section. So it looks like I was the last one to edit this in December, but I can compare and kind of see what changed. Looks like we took out a whole section here. This is good because if I'm in a page and I'm editing the title and I'm adding 1, 2, 3 gobbledygook doing my little demo, and then one of you guys is also in the page doing real work, and then I just slam that publish button, it's going to publish my gobbledygook and whoever else's changes, and maybe they weren't ready to publish those changes. So before I hit any sort of publish button, it's always nice to check and see what has changed? Am I including someone else's changes? I can also see up here that Megan has joined us. It looks like Hannah was in here before, so that's kind of neat. Megan is in here changing these things too. Thank you for helping me with the demo, Megan. But yeah, kind of keeping an eye on what all is changing before hitting a publish. And I can see the status of these has changed. For example, you saw me add a 1 and then delete a 1. Like, this hasn't actually changed, but Contentful still logs it as changed, even though if I go and check, like, none of these fields are actually active, like they're all kind of grayed out. Nothing has actually changed on here. So I'm safe to publish this. But yeah, for whatever reason, Contentful logs it as a difference, even though nothing really has changed. So that's a quick overview of Contentful. I'll also call out the media section. If you're looking for like images and logos and stuff, we're trying to upload everything into this library. So they all live here. If you're looking for like, sure, a logo, it's here. And let's say that Philium changes their logo tomorrow. We update this one instance of the logo, and everywhere that it's used across the site automatically updates. So that's like a really powerful part of Contentful. So one that we're pretty happy with. But yeah, that's a quick overview.
Hey, thanks, Laura. That's great. Are there any guidance on best practices, or y'all just kind of trust us to do what's right, or do we need to run? What level change can we do on our own, or what level do we need to kind of get a bigger buy-in?
So for the most part, everyone has publish access. You can all publish content in Contentful. Where's my Contentful there? So most people should see that publish button. If you like, we are just trusting people. The idea originally was to kind of set up a system where certain teams had access to certain pages, but we found that a lot of teams kind of overlap pages. Like, it's not like the events team only ever touches the events pages. It's like a lot to manage. And for the most part, we assume good intent. We assume that no one is just going to go to the pricing page and start writing, $1 million a month or whatever. Like, we assume that people are going to treat this with respect, and everything is unpublishable. We can always undo changes, and that pipeline runs quickly. So we are at this time trusting everyone with publish access. If there are people on the team that you don't think need publish access, I can downgrade them to just like be a reviewer. Like, they can edit content, but they can't publish it. They can look over other people's content. If people don't want the keys, we can take away the keys. But we're going with the least restrictive method, except there is like a handful of special pages. The pricing page and the homepage, I think, are the only ones right now that only digital experience can publish. We've added a special label to them. But those want, like, Michael Preuss wants his eyes on those before any changes go out anyway. We have designers on them, like, those are a bit more specific. So we can add that tag to any other pages that we only want digital experience to have the ability to publish if those come up. And we can add other tags if there's like a need for your team to only touch a page. Like, we can build that. But yeah.
Laura, is it possible to, in the same way, for certain pages, only have a group of people that can change it? So instead of limiting access, choosing the exact people that can change each page?
We tried to implement it. It means that every single, actually, I'll show you in my settings. I'll give kind of a visual. We have, like, I think 6 roles. And if that's the case, every team would need a new role. We would need to add, like, the events team would have an events role, and then we would put that role, give it access to a subset of pages. And then, like, the PMM team would have their own role. And then we just run into this issue where, like, you can publish on certain pages, but not on others. And which permissions are conflicting right now? Why can't you publish on that page? Oh, it's because you also have access to the events team pages. We tried this, like, on a small scale with our team, adding these tags and these roles, and we found it to be very convoluted. That, like, the Contentful defaults to giving people the lowest level. If you've got a bunch of types of permission, you only get the lowest level. So if I give you access to publish everything except, like, those pages you don't need, it actually says, like, oh, no, you don't have the keys anywhere, because this one role kind of dictates your whole user profile. So,
okay.
Yeah. it's
Got
not
it.
perfect.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. My only concern is that with so many people having the ability to edit one page, for example, if I'm in charge of keeping the messaging on one page and then someone comes in, changes it, and I'm not aware that this change is made, that might generate some confusion. But I think that's more on our side to guarantee that the page owner is informed that that page is being changed in a certain way.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see this as more and more people are in Contentful. Like this is an issue. Like Contentful is not as robust as like GitLab is for seeing like who edited what file, seeing a full like diff view of like when it changed by who. Like this shows that this page has been changed, but it doesn't show that I changed it. It shows who published it. Like it looks like Abby was the last one to publish this page, but I've been changing it and it doesn't show my name anywhere. Like it's really hard to track who did what. We're trying to think of like ways that we can get around this. There's a comment section like that we're starting to use. There is like, you could go in here and be like, hey team, whatever, like here's an issue that we're working from. I've made these changes from this issue. See that issue for details or whatever. Like you can kind of self-report what you've done in here if that's what the direction that we want to go in, and utilize these comments so that there's kind of a history, I guess, of changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ran into that where our team, our designers, I think it was the GitLab Duo page, like had made changes to a page, like did a page, and then someone like who kind of manages that content, not on our team, went and changed the content as they should. But then our team saw it and was like, that's not what we did, and like reverted it back. And like it just kind of was this back and forth because no one knew what the source of truth was.
Exactly. And
yeah.
it's exactly because of that example that I'm saying that, because someone changed the page and Dex was not aware of it. I was not aware of it as the content owner and messaging owner. So it's just, certain pages are really sensitive in terms of what we can say and not say, and like how we presented, AI being one of those cases. So I'm just thinking about how we can just like educate everyone that they cannot just make changes without getting approvals first for that change to be made.
Well, I think that that's a case for like, we can do that roles and permissions thing where I can create a role for your team. It's like, if there's a need for it, we can do that. I just didn't want to offer that to everyone all the time and make it this huge tangled mess of roles. But I think that like, it sounds like there's a need for like some boundaries on a certain subset of pages that your team can manage. Yeah, maybe let's add an action item.
We can also lock it down, not just at like, if it's like we can let someone access the page level, but say like, hey, this one page that like really shows off our AI product, there's like this messaging here in this one section, like we cannot let anyone touch. We can lock down the section itself too, rather than just the page. So yeah,
I think that would be a great solution to this.
Yeah, maybe let's get together and kind of have us, like, you let me know the subset of pages or sections of content if that's the way that you prefer to lock things down, and we can start adding a special role that is like just for specific people to edit.
Yeah, I will bring it up in our PMM meeting later this week, and we can discuss if there is like more pages beyond AI that we might want to do that. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, because I can also give you, pretty much the same setup that digital experience has, where like only we touch the pricing page. It would be that where like, other people can probably make edits if that's what you would like, and then it would have to go through you for publishing, or they can't even edit it. Yeah, that would be up to you. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Anything that I can show that's maybe specific to this team that you're curious about? I'm not sure what you went over with Justin, but
we didn't do too much detail. What about like adding a resource to the bottom of a page, like at the whatever the bottom, the scroll's called at the bottom, but there's a lot of the pages have resources.
Oh yeah, that's
like a new data sheet or white paper or something like that. That's
a good example. I think some of our solutions pages have them on. Maybe pick one. Maybe GitLab Duo have it. I'm so like these kind of things or whatever. That's a great example. So I'll go into the GitLab Duo page, which is, thought it was alphabetical here. Wait, yeah, I'm going the wrong direction. Pages.
You could also show them like the power of searching.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I did see it there, but okay. Yeah, you can type, you know, searching. You can also search for like a string on a page, like a specific piece of text or whatever. But yeah, GitLab Duo. What's new for GitLab Duo? I think is what it's called. Yeah. So I looked for this section title. We've tried to title each of our sections kind of appropriately. So what's new for GitLab Duo is in here, and I see 3 cards as the content on the page. So it would be like adding content. I would follow the existing pattern of what I see here for any page. Like in general, if I'm adding anything to a page, I just try to follow the pattern. I would even like open up this in a second window or whatever, so that I have one to reference. So yeah, you can do it. So this is one existing card, and I'm going to go back and add a 4th card to here. I would go add existing content. If a resource already existed on a different page, I could search for it. But if I'm adding like a brand new piece, I would add a card. It would open up this thing. I'd go in here, be like, okay, it looks like I need an internal name that matches the title. That's just, you know, something that we keep track of, internal name. It doesn't appear on the page, but I would like write like resource 4, I can't type, whatever, and copy that into here. And then I'd go into the next section that I see filled in. Okay, it looks like there's an icon name, blog. So I would put in whatever the type of resource this is, you know, maybe it's a report or whatever. I would add an image. If I had an image that already exists in the library, I would add existing, but I can also upload a brand new thing. It'll get added to our library, which is great. So I would add my image. I would just go line by line and make sure that all of the same fields are filled out and then hit that publish button. So that's, adding like the same type of content is a really strong like power of Contentful. It's really quick to kind of, but I would recommend looking at what already exists and just following the pattern, because there's a lot of fields in this card type that are used on other types of cards, but not used on this particular resources card. It looks like there are no descriptions on these cards.
Yeah,
so
you could enter like a description or like add something in the video link, but we weren't doing those with those specific resources on the page. So like nothing would actually show up. So yeah, really critical to kind of copy what's already there.
Yeah.
The best part is you could make this new card once and then go through the other solutions pages and add it without having to make it again. That's like the beauty of Contentful, is you can make something once and share it across, and then you only have to update it once and it will populate where that card lives.
Yeah, which is great. We have that a lot. There's a free trial button that appears on a lot of pages. I don't know if it's, this ultimate free trial. This link, if you can see in my bottom screen, is like, has a whole bunch of UTM parameters for tracking and stuff, right? Like it's kind of a long gobbledygook link, and sometimes the team changes that link, and we have one place that this link exists, and we change it in that one place, and it filters down to like 22 buttons, which is really helpful for us to not have to change that everywhere, which is good. But like that also means if we decide instead of a free trial button here, we're going to have like a contact sales button, and we go into the page, we go to the hero, and we just change this button to say like contact sales, and we change the URL to just be like sales. It'll change it in all 22 instances. Like in that case, it's not good. We need to like make a new button and swap it out for our new button. So yeah, with great power comes great responsibility. But yeah, I know.
I have a question on finding a landing page that I manage. So I wouldn't, since it's not within the structure of GitLab, how would I find it? Can I do a keyword search?
Yeah, if there's like a piece of text, you can like search this piece of text. I am gonna call out that like, this is only gonna search page types. I would change this to any. So it searches like all buttons, all strings, all here, like any type of content there is. And it would give me like whatever, like a result or something. But if you're talking about like, is it like a page.gitlab.com, like a different subdomain, or is it a
what is it? No, it's about .gitlab.com. Yeah. And then just just the regular URL.
Yeah, if this page section houses most of our regular pages. There are a few other page types that we have. This is, getting a bit kind of sprawling, but we have events pages, we have case study, like all of these icons that are like a page icon, each represent a page. Like if you're looking for a topics page, we built those a little bit differently as like a template. Same with like our events pages, like Google Cloud Next or whatever has its own page that we kind of built it's in a special way. So if it sounds like one of these pages, you could check in there. Like with our case studies, we're just gonna have a ton of customers in here if that's what you're looking for. And then one other thing I want to call out that we've just recently started using, so you might see a few pages in that, is actually these custom pages. Where am I? Custom page. So this is really could be a whole meeting on itself, and I included a handbook page on this also with a video that kind of goes into how to use this. But we're starting to build out custom pages. The community contribute one is a good example. We have basically created all of these content types that have a little hammer and nail or whatever beside them. You can create a custom page and use one of these 6 or 7 content types on it that are predefined, and you can just like drag and drop them onto your page as you see fit. So if you're like, building a net new page and you need a hero and you need some cards and you need like a CTA or something, you can just build that yourself and it'll generate a new URL. An example, the community team is moving all of the /community pages over themselves using this template. And so there are like, a couple of pieces of content and they're just managing that themselves and they can publish it. And our code base knows to look for these kind of custom URLs that are created. And in the handbooks sections that I linked here, this custom pages template one is the one that matters. It's here. You can kind of get a visual of like, this is what the hero is going to look like. If you add a text block header, this is what you have access to. If you want like this kind of like CTA card, this is what it's going to look like. And the different variables that you can add to that. So you can also build a page using this custom template. We're starting to add more components to it as people make requests, but it means that some pages are being built in there too, and searching for them is now another place you might have to search if you're looking for a specific page. So yeah, it could be a little difficult, and maybe doing like just a string search on any content type is maybe the best way to go if you can't find something specific. And there's a small chance a few things haven't been moved into Contentful yet. We're like 90% there. There's some stuff in our old www repo we're moving over, and there are some things in our Fire Experience repo. Like I don't think we've moved the Atlassian page over. Like there are things we haven't moved over yet. So it could also be just our fault.
Cool, thank you.
Cool. We're running out of time, but anything else that I can go over? And also, in general, creating issues for our team if you need like help with anything, but especially if it's a question or something, like ask us in Slack, in Digital Experience Team Slack. We are around to answer questions if you're having trouble finding anything or want to make a quick update, like always happy to go over that sort of stuff. But yeah, these handbook pages, we've tried to kind of put some documentation together. If I go back to the other page I linked, there are, I've done kind of a video walkthrough of what I just showed basically, but if you have specific questions like adding to the press releases pages, adding to the technology partners pages, like kind of special cases that I've recorded some videos there that you can check out as well. So I'll be building that out too as cases come up that like are kind of constant, people are always adding events to the events page. So like I made a video about it. But yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to quickly just also call out like some things people have reached out to us for as they're making updates into Contentful is like, why can't I make this section purple or things like that? Just wanted to call out like Contentful. The main focus kind of in the name is content. So a lot of pages as it stands with our kind of first implementation of the CMS in our marketing site is a lot of things can't be configured visually. It's all about the content. So if you're kind of trying to like update something and you're like, I want this to look a certain way, that might not be possible. It's something we are definitely looking into, like what, do we want this to be a full-fledged web page builder? You know, do we really want to give people 20 options of colors? How complicated do we want it to be? So that's something we're trying to figure out, like what works really well for everyone. But if there are things like, hey, I don't like the color of this, or this just doesn't kind of work out with the content I want to add, feel free to make an issue, and we can kind of work with our designers and see, you know, can we keep things on brand? Can we improve the branding and design of a page you might own? So please keep that in mind.
Great. Well, thank y'all both so much. This has been really helpful, and we're excited to just have access and start playing around with this. So this is perfect.
Yay, cool. Yeah, and then we'll work together on like a list of exclusive VIP pages for your team and get
I like
those
even
in
better.
Perfect.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank
All
y'all.
right, thanks everyone. Okay, bye.
Thank you.